Good morning, YouTube. Happy Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. Welcome to another episode of Bucks Baseball Podcast. Today is a special day. We're going over my St. Louis Cardinals, my favorite team since I was a little boy, 6, 7 years old. 1982 World Series, Willie McGee, making the big catch. I remember George Hendrick and the whole squad, man. It was just a tremendous time to be a Cardinal fan. And I vaguely remember it. I was 8 years old, but beating the Brewers, it was so great. But today we got another episode of Bucks Baseball Podcast, and we're going over my Cardinals 2025 season. Lots of questions. Nolan Arenado, as I'm recording, is still a Cardinal. Is he going to be a Cardinal when pitchers and catchers report in a couple days? Probably. Is he going to be when players? Probably. I don't look for him to be traded at this point unless it's at the All-Star break or something crazy happens with Bregman before then, but right now he's still a Cardinal. So we're going to go over the prospects, the lineup, what it looks like with Arenado, what it could look like without Arenado. Are Cardinal fans spoiled? And my 3 favorite Cardinals of all time. Let's get into it.
Hey, take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
So first up, we're going to start with the starting rotation. Now, Fangraphs has Sonny Gray, Eric Fedde, Miles Mikolas, Andre Palante, and Steven Matz. I believe Steven Matz needs to go to the bullpen to help keep him healthy. Plus, he could be an Andrew Miller type weapon out of the bullpen, in my opinion. I think he could be really good out of the bullpen, and this would allow for Michael McCreevy, who earned the right at the end of the season to be the 5th starter, I believe. The Cardinals could have done something here. They could have traded Fedde. They could have traded Matz if they were really looking to save some money and went with more of a youth movement. But I understand also why they don't want to do that, because you need innings from your starting pitching. Mikolas gives you innings, albeit not always great innings. Fedde was great last year. If he can repeat what he did last year, the Cardinals are going to be in really good shape. Fangraphs doesn't believe it, 1.9 WAR. He was top 10 in baseball in pitcher WAR last season. Sonny Gray, they have him down at 3.5. Palante, 1.6, same as Mikolas. I believe Palante will outperform Mikolas, and I think if McCreevy was given a chance, he could as well. Now, the bullpen, still really good. I'm surprised Ryan Helsley's still here, sort of. If you saw what the Brewers got for Devin Williams, then you can see that the trade market for closers with 1-year control isn't necessarily that great. Matthew Liberatore, another solid lefty out of the pen. I think this is going to be his role going forward. Another guy like Andrew Miller type can come in, give you 1 or 2 innings, throw hard. Matz could be that as well, I think. Jojo Romero was really good last year. John King was decent. We have Ryan Fernandez, Kyle Leahy, I don't think will be there. Zach Thompson and Gordon Graceffo, they have him coming out of the pen. I'm not opposed to this, because I feel like Graceffo starts wearing down the more innings he pitches in a game. I feel like he could be another really good setup type out of the bullpen for the Cardinals. All right, now if we're talking about the offense, the lineup they have here is Mason Wynn leading off, Burley DHing, Wilson Contreras at first, Brendan Donovan cleanup, Nolan Arenado hitting 5th, Lars Nootbaar, Jordan Walker, Ivan Herrera catching, Victor Scott II in center field, and then they have Pages, Gorman, Sajasi, and Siani on the bench. All right, I take great umbrage with this. I understand Arenado's still here, and that kind of takes a spot away from like Gorman starting potentially. But if you're going to have a DH, I would guess they would play Gorman ahead of Burley. I guess it just depends on the matchups too, who's pitching, because Ollie likes to play the matchups like a lot of managers. But this lineup, I don't hate it. I hope Victor Scott can take center field, and that would, leave Lars in left field. That would be great. Donovan could go back to second base. I believe he's just better there, and that could help his offense be more consistent if he knows that's where he's playing. I'd still like to see him shop Burley. I just feel like having him is redundant. We did make a trade for another outfielder the other day. I don't think he'll be on the – I don't know. They were looking for a right-handed bat. I think Sajasi is that. But I would like to see Sajasi get every day at bats, and that can't happen as long as Nolan Arenado is here. So the Cardinals really need to do what they can to get Arenado moved, whether it be the Red Sox. I've seen the Yankees and Dodgers pop up. I don't believe the Dodgers are going to do it, and there's really nothing we could get from the Dodgers. I know they would like to move Chris Taylor, but that defeats the purpose of moving salary and freeing up a spot for another player. Also, you got to consider the Cardinals have a pretty good farm system right now. J.J. Weatherholt is our #1 prospect, 22-year-old. He destroyed single A in the little bit he did after the draft last year. He's probably going to start at double A. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him at triple A or even in St. Louis at some point this season. I just hope they don't rush him too much. But JJ is the real deal. His bat is real, and he can play all over. They're probably going to move him to third base, though, if I had to bet on it. Quinn Matthews, Tink Hence are right there in that tier 2. I know Quinn Matthews is getting all the hype right now. I would love to see what he can do. He did go from single A to triple A last season, all in 1 year. He's an older prospect, minor league pitcher of the year last year. Really good. Tink Hence, another good arm too. His problem is we need to start getting more innings out of him. And another pitcher that is not here, I don't know where they got him at here. They don't even have him in the top 10. They have him at 11, Cooper Jerpy. I think he has a chance to be the best of all these pitchers. I know that Quinn Matthews, Tink Hence get all the hubbub, but I think Jerpy has a chance to be really good, and I really hope they don't put him in the bullpen, which I've heard some people talk about. Then there's Takeo Roby, who has legit stuff. He just has to stay healthy and find his control. Sajasi, Chase Davis had a great season last year. I'm hoping he starts at AAA. I would love to see what he can do. He's still only 23, so I'm really hoping he gets to have a really good year. Jimmy Crooks could still be the catcher of the future. He is solid on both sides of the ball. Roberts, another right-handed pitcher. He's at AAA last year. He was pretty good. We have another catcher in Bernal, only 20 at AA. And then Padilla at shortstop, 17-year-old, top 10 in the farm system already. Going to be really, really good. Then there's McGreevy here at 13, Graceffel at 14. Some other really good names. Juan Bin Cho, I'm hoping makes a big step this year. Bedell. And then there's Joshua Baez, still only 21. He's at high A. He might take a step to double A this year. He still has a chance to be really, really good. Monster, Aaron Judge type looking guy. I'm not saying he's Aaron Judge, but he's a big boy just like Aaron Judge. Let's go over my 3 bold predictions for the St. Louis Cardinals. First, with the pitching staff, I'm going to say that Steven Matz is moved to the bullpen, and he has a very solid setup year. I'm talking 8th inning setup, taking JoJo Romero's spot. He becomes that Andrew Miller type pitcher, and he builds up his trade value, and the Cardinals move him at the All-Star break if they're out of it. I'm saying if, because I still think this team is better than last year and the year before. All right, now my bold prediction on the offense. Lars Nootbaar stays healthy. We get 150-plus games out of Lars, and he is an all-star for the St. Louis Cardinals. So many Cardinal fans underrate this kid. He is so good. His only issue has been health. He hasn't been able to stay healthy, but when he's on the field, he's a very good talent, and I look for him to put up a 4+ WAR year if we get those games out of him. So lastly, the team prediction. I'm not a homer. I picked the Reds to win the Central, and I think the Cubs are better as well. And I'm still not sure about the Brewers. The Brewers have some voodoo magic. Right now, the Brewers, we say this every year, they just don't look like they're going to win the division, but you can never count out the Brewers. And the Pirates have a very good pitching staff, some young offense. They have a chance to be really good too. So I'm not a homer. I'm not going to say the Cardinals are going to win the division, but I am going to say that the Cardinals will win more than 82 games. I know that the prediction has them 78, something like that. I'm going to say they win 85+ games this year. All right, my all-time favorite Cardinals, my top 3. Ozzie Smith, number 1. I named one of my sons after Ozzie. I grew up watching Ozzie. He was phenomenal. He's still the greatest defensive player of all time, in my opinion. I know Yadi's been talked about, potentially as one of the greater defensive players of all time. But for my money, give me Ozzie Smith. Number 2, Willie McGee. Love Willie McGee. I wish he was still a coach. I hope he finds a job somewhere in the Cardinals organization, whether it's the minors or doing something. I know he wants to step away from the game for a while. But Willie McGee was so much fun to watch, running the bases, hitting. He was an MVP. I loved Willie McGee. Lastly, Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols is the greatest St. Louis Cardinal hitter of all time. I know there's going to be older fans who be like, oh, Stan Musial, blah, blah, blah. No. Albert Pujols had the greatest 10-year run of any player. He was amazing. It was crazy to watch him day in and day out hitting in the Cardinals lineup. And I know a lot of fans were salty when he left and went to Anaheim or whatever to get more money, but the Cardinals disrespected him. You can flip it any way you want to. The Cardinals disrespect him coming off those years, and who knows what he would have been like in St. Louis. We saw what he was like when he came back. Very old. He was killing the ball still. He loved St. Louis. One more thing I wanted to touch on is St. Louis Cardinal fans. Are they spoiled? Yes. Yes. They can deny it. A lot of fans will deny it. I am a realist. I tell it like it is. I don't sugarcoat things. I don't think John Mozeliak's an idiot. I don't think the DeWitts are bad owners like a lot of the best fans in baseball like to claim. That's what I like to call the less intelligent portion of the St. Louis Cardinals fan base, the best fans in baseball. They truly believe Lars Nootbaar is overrated. They think John Mozeliak's an idiot and doesn't know what he's doing, and they still want him fired even though this is his last year, and I don't think they got the memo. And they think the DeWitts should sell the team. And please be careful what you wish for, because you don't know who's going to take over this team. The Cardinals have spent money. I know this thing, they don't spend money. They signed Gray, they signed Contreras, they traded for Arenado's contract, Goldie's contract. The problem is the money they spend sometimes is bad. But trade-wise, John Mozeliak's been amazing. The Cardinals over the last 30 years have been great. We as fans are very spoiled. And some fans can't see it. Some fans do see it. Some fans just act like they're 3-year-olds. And, you know, that's every fan base, but this is my fan base, and that's why I'm saying this. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I upload every day baseball content here, as well as MLB the Show, which is still baseball. I love the game. We're going to have a great year. Make sure to follow me on all my socials. The links are in the description of the video below. And until next time, you can catch me right here, same buck time, same buck channel.